When I returned to my country, I received a grand welcome from everyone. Up to that point was fine, but what followed was difficult. Using Ramiris' authority to restore the labyrinth, reorganizing the administrative organs that had stagnated, regaining our daily lives. Meanwhile, incomprehensible disputes were rising. Shuna, Shan, and even Milim seemed to be competing fiercely in places where I wasn't present. Sao reported it to me indirectly, but apparently, it is a holy war over the seat of my main wife. What are your people doing? I could only be exasperated. I couldn't tell how serious they were, and it gave me a headache. I have no son, and for some reason, even when I tried to transform into Mikami Satoru, due to a mysterious error, execution was impossible. And so on. Seal-san interferes. What is this mysterious error? There is no such thing. It is absolutely a lie that Seal-san cannot analyze it. But well, I have already given up on this. Since I have no lifespan to begin with, there is no need to marry. Or rather, I have nothing but a premonition that it will be the source of conflict. Despite that, things got complicated because Benimaru had children. Even Benimaru has no lifespan, does he not? He attacked with this theoretical defense, so even I was at a loss for a response. I had been dodging the issue evasively, but when children were actually born, it turned into a huge uproar. Between him and Albus, a genderless child was born. Since Benimaru asked me, I named the child Kuja. Between him and Momiji, twins were born. The boy is Enju, and the girl is Kuriha. Most likely, these children also have no concept of a lifespan. All three were born strong, and even possessed the qualifications of a demon lord seed. Kabira and Sphere also got married with super speed before I knew it, and had a child surprisingly quickly. Of course, I named the child Ryoko, but while I was envious that Kabira even got a girlfriend, I felt like he had raced far ahead of me, leaving me feeling slightly depressed despite the congratulatory occasion. At this point, my only friend left is Gopta. When a baby boom arrives, the other women do not stay silent. Free combat love principle love in battle became active, and that means I am being targeted as well. Rimuru, do you now understand my feelings? Lumina spoke to me as if sharing the wisdom of experience, but my answer is, like I care. Hinata looks at me with an exasperated cold gaze. Truly, give me a break. Chloe says things like, Rimuru-san is teacher, and is attached to me, so I can honestly think she is cute, though. But apparently, from the perspective of Shuna and the others, this statement has hidden motives. That grief, surely not with Chloe. There's no way such a thing exists. Rimuru-sama is obtuse. Is being deceived. If we are saying that, then I am Rimuru-sama's one and only secretary. Is she completely ignoring Diablo? Chloe, it seems she was more of a tactician than I thought. Leaving aside Lady Milim as her intent is different, she was an opponent I needed to be more wary of than Shion. What are they getting so worked up over a child for? Incidentally, Milim doesn't seem to be aiming for marriage with me or anything like that. Unfair. Rimuru is my best friend, so I am number one. As you can tell from that assertion, mentally, she is still very much a child. Actually, there was one more participant in that dispute. Ramiris. Since I've finally taken an adult form, Rimuru will fall for me instantly with this. Or so she babbled in her sleep while awake, participating in the holy war. However, after a few days passed, she reverted to her original form. Ramiris was furious. Wait a minute, what is the meaning of this? I plan to have a magnificent career from here on out, but I've turned back into a kid. She complained to me. Even if she tells me that, I don't know is my honest impression. Even Trainee-san and the others looked disappointed that they could no longer see the beautiful Ramiris in her glorious form. I pointed out sharply that they were just enjoying playing dress-up with her. In the first place, this growth was something done by diverting my power, so it was like an emergency measure. I stated the sound argument that I wanted her to become an adult through a normal process. Then, Ramiris retorted regretfully. That's just it. Because I grew in an irregular way, I have no idea how long I'll stay like this now. Worst case, I'll remain a child for thousands of years. She was practically in tears. Hearing that it might be worse than starting from scratch, even I began to feel a sense of guilt. Normally, it seems she becomes an adult once every few hundred years at the latest, but even then, she reverts to a child after a few years. In exchange for having no lifespan, it seems she can originally only stay in an adult state for a very short period. That is also a strange story, but it was pitiable. Thinking that, when I tried giving her just a little bit of power, she returned to being an adult quite easily. If I borrow power from Rimuru, it seems I can be an adult or child at will. It seems the number of days she can transform changes depending on the amount of energy. However, the conclusion was that since she isn't fighting and it doesn't affect the labyrinth management, there is no inconvenience in remaining a child. In that case, isn't it fine to stay in child form? Thinking so, I said exactly that. Well, isn't it fine? children can play freely, and you wouldn't be assigned unpleasant work like Millen, right? Well, that's true, I guess. My favorite research becomes my job, and this place is the best, but... Right. Besides, just because you become an adult, it doesn't mean there's anything specific you want to do, right? Energy consumption just increases, and you'll just get tired. Now that you mention it. Well, when it's truly necessary, I'll lend you power. I see. In that case, it means I can become an adult only when I want to. That's the best. And so, there was such an exchange. It seems Ramiris decided to conveniently switch between adult and child. Since then, she has been in a good mood and returned to normal. Trainee-san and the others also seemed satisfied, laughing together with Ramiris. As long as she could boast about her adult form, she was satisfied with that. She completely forgot about the Holy War, so Ramiris's anger is just that trivial. Although Ramiris's matter was settled, the noisy times did not end. The Holy War gradually became part of daily life. It was a mistake to be leisurely thinking that I should think of countermeasures soon. Even so, if I acknowledge a legal wife, will they start talking about concubines? Basically, my country has a monogamous system, but exceptions like Benimere do exist. Perhaps acknowledging that was the beginning of the mistake. No, let's stop thinking about that. The more I think about it, the more troublesome this story becomes. Fufufu, no matter what happens, Master's partner is me. I felt like I heard something, but it seems better to stop thinking deeply about that too. I decided to postpone the problem immediately, as usual. And so, the days passed dizzyingly, but... Thinking back, it was a very dense time. Since things have finally settled down, I thought I would clear up one regret. As soon as I returned to my room, I secretly performed a time warp. The destination I jumped to was a sea of fire. In the sky above, large strategic bombers, B-29s, were attacking. Right before my eyes, people are burning to death. It is a scene like hell. Because this tragedy is forgotten, war occurs again. Everyone must strongly engrave in their hearts that attacks on civilians are a grave war crime. With my current self, I could even save this hell. But if I were to do that, the existence known as me would vanish. Therefore, I have no choice but to abandon them. Even if I tell myself this is a story of the past, I was still tormented by a sense of powerlessness. No matter how much power I gain, I cannot erase all misfortune. I carved it into my heart again and again that I must not become conceited. Without even needing to run around the battlefield, I discovered a woman on the verge of death right in front of me. Just moments ago, the daughter whose hand she was holding had just been summoned to another world. The woman had lost one arm, her whole body was covered in severe burns. But seeing her daughter disappear from this hell, she forgot her pain and suffering and was in a daze. She is confused, unable to judge whether her daughter was saved or not. I lifted the woman up and teleported to a place where we could escape the air raid. Then, I treated her with a full potion. The burns all over her body vanished in an instant, and her lost arm began to regenerate. It helped that the potion was effective. If it hadn't healed well, I intended to swallow her once and reconstruct her. You are. Please rest slowly for now. I answered her thus and put the woman to sleep. Now, this was the real moment. Shizu-san, can you hear me? I asked gently toward the soul sleeping in the depths of my heart. Slime-san. Yeah. This isn't the world you hated. It's the world you came from. So, won't you wake up soon? But, your mother is here too. She was worried about you. Do you intend to let her be alone? When I asked that, there was a momentary pause. Then, a faint sense of a smile. I see. You kept your promise. And you saved me. I could feel a strong will from Shizu-san. I'm glad. I knew she was a strong person, but I was still worried. My action is undoubtedly meddlesome. Bringing the dead back to life is nothing but an act of my own ego. Even so, the reason I moved to action was that this was slightly different from resurrecting the dead. If she had truly died, I would have given up, but Shizu-san was merely sleeping within my heart. Due to the dissolution of her assimilation with Ifrit, her aging had progressed, and physically she had reached death. But her soul was still shining beautifully. That is precisely why this is meddlesome. I haven't told those in the cardinal world that Shizu-san is coming back to life. I didn't even consult them, so it was completely my arbitrary decision. Even so, I wanted Shizu-san to live out her own life. Thank you, Slime-san. No, Satoru-san. I'll be in your care again. Shizu-san smiled and accepted my proposal. Standing before me is a girl around 10 years old. She is the genuine article, reconstructed from Shizu-san's body. I've become a child again, haven't I? Well, that can't be helped. It would be hard for Shizu-san to explain things to your mother otherwise. That's true, Shizu-san laughs happily. Since she is a young girl, adding the honorific san feels a bit strange, but to me, Shizu-san is Shizu-san. After laughing for a while, Shizu-san seemed to notice a change in herself. Huh. My cheek doesn't feel strange. Could it be that the burn scar is gone? Yeah. The curse is gone, and you have no lingering regrets, so I suppose there is nothing binding you anymore, Shizu-san. I see, you're right. Thank you, Satoru-san. It's no big deal. If anything, I'm the one who owes you. Especially since my body was based on Shizu-san's, I owe her a tremendous debt of gratitude. Is that so? I'm happy if that's the case. The Shizu-san of her childhood days showed me a natural smile. Wishing for her to live strongly from now on, I hand over various items. God's grade is probably too much for her to handle, so I give her a legend grade equivalent Kadachi, tens of thousands of healing potions, and a magic bag to store them all. I don't need that many. Shizu-san stopped me, so I kept it to a moderate amount. That wasn't moderate at all. You'll be called overprotective, you know. I'm worried about you. Besides, we probably won't be able to meet again. It wouldn't be good for me to intervene too much, so I had resolved never to meet Shizu-san again. That is precisely why I want to do everything I can for her right now. Despite that, Shizu-san laughs, saying she will be fine. I'm strong, you know. I know that, but... Besides... I was forcibly seen off by a smiling Shizu-san. Shizu-san's final words echoed in my chest. I'm sure we'll meet again. Yeah, I hope so. Thinking that, I took flight toward my next destination.